Hey gorgeous, welcome to Happy Go Fabulous. I am so thrilled that you're here. This is our space where we get real about life, the good, the messy and all the juicy bits in between. Real talk, real life and a whole lot of delicious living. But I must warn you, listening may cause unexpected outbreaks of fabulousness and real life magic. Hi, I'm Catherine and I am so incredibly passionate about helping inspired, motivated, impact-driven, freedom-seeking people just like you to do the deep inner work to create those beautiful outer wonders in life. It's all about revolutionising your relationship with yourself, where you fall madly, deeply in love with who you are and create a life so fabulous you can't wait to jump out of bed every morning to live it. Ready? Because ordinary living is so last season. Life's waiting and it's time to make it fabulous. Let's shimmy on in. Hi, gorgeous. How are you? I am super excited to be back and a little nervous, I must admit. I am a little nervous. It's been almost 12 months since I've recorded a podcast and there's been lots, oh my gosh, so many changes in this last 12 months. 2024 was a huge year and I feel ready to come back and record a podcast with you. And things have changed, same, but a little bit different. We've got a new name, so it's Happy Go Fabulous, and it's a space to really get real and raw about life. We're going to dive into all the elements of life, the good bits, the kind of messy bits, and all the juiciness of in between. Lots of people have been asking me, over the year, when are you coming? When's your podcast coming back? And they really wanted me to do more solo episodes. So I'm going to do that. I feel, a little bit vulnerable. I feel much more comfortable in the interviewer's seat, but I'm actually going to go with it. And really, the podcast is about just exploring what it takes to live fully, to truly love who you are, and to make life unapologetically fabulous. It's too short to be anything but fabulous. I'm going to share a lot with you about my experiences, my tools and tips, and we'll have occasional guests coming on and sharing their insights about life as well. And it's just going to be really fun, mixed bag, like a couple of girlfriends sitting down together and having a chat. You know me, and if you're introduced to me for the first time, if you're new into this space, I am just so incredibly passionate about helping amazing, purpose-driven, freedom-seeking women and blokes too, to create something really extraordinary in their lives. That flutter of excitement that you get when you think about what life could be, when you just know that there's more waiting for you. And it's not saying that life's crappy, but it's about saying there's that feeling that there's more out there for you. That's what we're going to talk about, how to help you fall madly, deeply in love with who you are, the life you're living and the life that you're creating, and making it so fabulous that you can't wait to jump out of bed every morning to live it. And I'll be really honest with you. I'll be really honest, because that's what this space is about. The last year, I have not felt like that. I have fallen out of love with life, and 2024 was tough. It was a really challenging. Was it my most challenging year? Possibly. It was certainly up there. And I've fallen out of love with life, and I'm in the process of falling back in love with life. And I want to take you on that journey, because I know a lot of people, a lot of women that I work with, that I connect with, have gone through their versions of that as well. And it's also about that, just so we can live our most amazing, beautiful, fabulous lives. So we've got a new name, Happy Go Fabulous. I think that's pretty fabulous, because life's too short for it to be anything but fabulous. And years ago, I made a commitment to myself to be the very best version that I could be, and to live my most beautiful and fabulous life that I could. And for my life to be just that rich and beautifully abundant life. And I've worked really hard. I've been committed. I hesitate when I say I've worked really hard. I have worked really hard, but I've dedicated myself and my life to really being the best version that I can be, helping others to be the best versions that they can be, but just making life, creating life so it is really beautiful and abundant. And even though this last year has been challenging, there have been some gorgeous moments in there as well. And it's really about, there's been a whole pile of lessons for me. So I've experienced throughout life, I've experienced some soaring highs, the most incredible highs, and some really challenging, shitty lows as well. Like I know that we all have. And I've got moments of clarity, lots of moments of clarity where everything just clicks into place. And now I really want to be able to share from my experiences. I think that's a gift that I have, that I'm able to share from my experiences and then help others who might be going through something similar, or that they can apply that to their own version. So there'll be lots of practical stuff in here as well. Sometimes it'll be obvious, maybe other times it might not be as obvious, but there'll be pearls of wisdom. I know that there will be pearls of wisdom because that's what people said about the Happiness Hive podcast, that I was able to say, and my guests, the right thing dropped at the right time for the people that needed to hear it. And it was different for everybody. So my goal is that those little pearls of wisdom will continue to drop where they need to drop. And the episodes, they are going to be real. They're going to be raw. They're going to be wonderfully intimate, like we're sitting down for a cuppa together or a glass of bubbles. And I'm going to share from my heart. I'm going to share my experiences, my many years, and I would say lifetimes of working in psychology, human behavior, and personal transformation. And I'm also going to weave in some spiritual insights and energy medicine and healing practices to give a holistic perspective on creating that big, beautiful, gorgeous life that you've been dreaming about. And like I said, there'll be practical tips with a treasure trove, I'm hoping, of wisdom sprinkled through it. I'm going to blend in some ancient traditions with modern science and just a big dollop of lived experience. And some of the episodes, they're going to be like deep and soulful. Others will be like really lighthearted and fun. I'm kind of predicting that there'll be lots of laughs. There'll probably be lots of tears as well. And most of all, it's about keeping it real. Because that's what I find. That's where the magic happens, is when we keep it real. So my goal through the podcast and just life generally is to help you live life to the fullest, but to live it authentically, like you do you. You've heard me say that before. You do you, live life your way, unapologetically. That bit's key. Live it your way, unapologetically. And also to be the most gorgeous and highest expression of who you can be. Like we'll have occasional guests. Every episode is my goal is for it to inspire and uplift, but also, like I said before, keeping it real as well. To remind you of the magic that's within you. So life's waiting. Let's really make it fabulous. Let's absolutely make it fabulous. I will have topics that I will talk about. I think a lot of it will be kind of what's going on in life, and that will lead me to sharing some insights, because what I find is what's going on in my life is often going on in a lot of other people's lives as well. And that's where I get I feel comfortable to talk about what's going on for me, and then we'll just see where that goes. So I thought this first episode back, I'd just give you a bit of a catch up as to where I'm actually at in life and what's been going on, and kind of what some of my plans are. But spoiler alert, I'm really going with the flow with things at the moment. I'm in a very, very, very different energy than I was 12 months ago. Very different. So this time, 12 months ago, so in January 2024, the family and I kicked off our year with a trip to Bali, and it was amazing. I'm just thinking about it now. It's really beautiful to be able to go back to that space. It was just a beautiful, fun family holiday. We had, several years of challenges leading up to last year. And I was thinking that 2024 was going to be my fresh new start. And there was lots of changes. So we started off with this family trip to Bali. And then Henry and I stayed for an additional week where we did our own DIY retreat. And it was amazing. If you want to hear about that, there is one of the Happiness Hive podcast episodes where I shared about that trip. It was amazing. We started off the DIY retreat with a tarot reading, and that was really poignant for me for the whole year. So the tarot reading, and I'll dip into that and share with it like some of the key bits that came out of it. We did a lot of energy healing, so sound healing. We went to the pyramids of Chi, and it's in Ubud, and if anybody's traveling to Ubud, go to the pyramids of Chi because it was freaking amazing. So we did some sound healings there, and we did an LSV, light sound vibration, and that was so cool. We also went and saw traditional Balinese healer and had some very profound session with him as well. So insights about our purpose and some key things for Henry and I to kind of work on throughout the year and what we're like, our purpose and things as well. So that was cool. We did I got introduced to biomagnetic therapy. Excuse my language. That intrigues me. Energy is, there's been some big shifts around that. So energy therapy was so cool. And then we went to a water temple that was probably one of the most profound healing experiences that I've had to date. It was a water temple. There was just this cleansing and the purity, and it was almost like this spiritual activation within me. And I know Henry had a profound experience as well, but it was freaking amazing. So setting up the year last year, I was thinking, this is my year of amazingness. And when I had the tarot reading, and as I said, it was really profound, and I've had a squillion tarot readings, and I do tarot readings and oracle readings. This one just had a profundity. It was so profound that I hadn't experienced. So January last year was a really profound time. So the key things that came out of that reading, it was almost like my direction for the year, but I didn't sit and think, okay, what's happening this month? But it had this overriding energy for me. And so Tallis, who provided the reading, she said there are going to be some big changes. Some of them will be planned changes. Some of them will be unexpected changes. And the changes, really, the essence was about mastering my emotions. It was about, I am here helping others, but 2024 was really going to be about big changes with me mastering my emotions and then sharing more of who I am, stepping into more of my spirituality, but sharing more of my spirituality. That was a really key bit. It wasn't just about teaching people to have, live better lives. It was really about this being a spiritual messenger, and that's what very much came out through all of the healings, and the Balinese healer very much was around that as well. And that will actually, to do that personally, but it was also about, it will form the essence of what my work is going to be. and that things are going to change. And I remember at the end of the year, because I had some plans about, moving to our seaside sanctuary, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. And when I went into that reading, it was just like, really, tell me more about that and how's that going to unfold? But the message was, it will absolutely be the right move. But the end of the year, it's about, there's going to be some big things that will change for you, but they're still unfolding, and you need to actually allow them to unfold and not plan anything for the end of the year. It's like, oh, that's not how I normally do things. I normally like to have it all planned out. So anyway, this is how 2024 played out for me. So that was kind of an overarching coming into the year thinking, oh, big changes. And I knew that there were going to be big lifestyle changes, but there was some big changes that I was not prepared for. So we had our trip to Bali. And then when we came back from Bali, John and I started straight away to pack up our house and get ready to sell it so we could up and move to our huge, I would say probably 10 or 15-year dream of moving to the coast for a seaside, doing the seaside sea change thing. So we had initially thought that it would be the end of 2024 that we would be selling the house and then starting to make the move. When we were talking with our financial advisor, he said, why are you waiting till the end of the year? Why don't you sell early in the year? Then you'll be cash buyers. So if you sell your house, and you'll probably get a better deal, bigger bang for your buck when you move down the coast, because you'll be cash buyers and ready to go. And I'm just like, oh my God, like selling the house 12 months early. And then John and I sat with that and we came up with what we thought would be an ideal way to do it. So the ideal way to do it was going to be sell our house. And once we sold our house, we didn't want any bridging loans or anything like that. And we needed to sell the house to purchase a new one. So sell our house quickly in the beginning of the year. Then we'll go and give ourselves a couple of months to go and find a new house down the coast. Then John would take long service leave in the middle of the year. So he's a school teacher, and he's like, wouldn't it be great if I could take term 3 off? If it worked out in that, so that was from July through to the beginning of October. He said, wouldn't that be great if I could take long service leave? I could still commute back. We could sort of start moving into the property down the coast. I could go back to Canberra. I've still got corporate clients in Canberra. And then he would come back for term 4, which is October through to December. And then we would live here permanently. And it's just like, would that be beautiful if that all worked out that way? So we packed the house up, ready to put it on the market. We said, let's put it on the market in March, the beginning of March. So that gave us January and February to pack up a house of 25 years that we have lived in, with lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of stuff that we've collected over 25 years, with kids and all the things that we still had from my dad when he passed away and John's mum when she passed away, and just stuff that collected. And that was hard. January was hard. I remember when we got back from this beautiful, amazing holiday into hard work. It was hot, and it brought up a whole lot of big emotions, like huge emotions, of decluttering. And because we hadn't bought anywhere, we didn't know where we were going to move to, we kind of packed stuff away. So putting the house on the market didn't have everything in it. We put some stuff into storage. So we had a gorgeous friend who had a shipping container on his property, and we just started. There was some stuff that we were able to chuck out straight away. We just went, we don't want this. But there was things just like, I'm not sure whether we're going to need this in the new place. Let's just keep it in case. So we had this shipping container all packed, and it was that was hard. I remember there was lots of days of tears with that, because the boxing up, like the tears with, just the memory stuff, but physical. It was tiring. So we did that. And then we put the house on the market the beginning of March. Now, we'd sold John's mum's house. I can't remember when it was. I think it was the end of, it was the end of 2023. And we were expecting it to take a long day, and we sold it within 5 days. And it was just like, oh my God, that's amazing. Then we're going, oh, did we sell it too cheap? But we sold it quickly. And we also had an investment property that we were wanting to offload. We were ready to move it on, and it sold the first open house. So we put our residential home on the market, and Canberra was it was a bit of a tricky market. The agent was saying, yeah, I reckon you're going to get it. I think it's going to go really quick. It's in a really good location. There's it's an older house, but it's got good solid bones, and there's a lot of people looking for property in your suburb. So I reckon it's going to go pretty quick. And we had the first open home, and he said, oh, not many people came through, and nobody was really like, they were saying it needs a lot of work and they're not prepared to. And this was on the back of interest rates, that there was no relief with interest rates and things. And he's like, oh, I was expecting we would have got an offer. He said, and Dumbo bloody real estate, he said, oh, I'm selling one around the corner, like in the next suburb over. He'd had heaps of, like, it's got lots and lots of offers and people are going crazy for it, but not for your house. And then I went into this spiral going, oh my God, we haven't sold it on the first day. Like, and just a bit of a silly thought around it. And then we had a couple of open homes, and he's like, yeah, I'm surprised there's not really any interest in it. And I'm starting to, I don't think spiral's the right word, but emotions, lots of huge emotions came up going, how come? I kind of had anticipated that we're going to sell it pretty quickly because the agent, number one, had said that. And I know you can never predict. But he was sort of saying, yeah, it'll go pretty quick. We sold the other two places like quickly, and now we're not. And the one that I really want to sell so we can start looking for the next place is just like, oh, this isn't going to sell. So lots of emotions coming up there. And then out of the blue, I got a phone call from my brother. Saying that his daughter had passed away. My 20-year-old niece had passed away. And she was my brother and his wife's only child. And my life just changed. Sorry. My life changed. Our lives changed forever. And I just, I'm not going to go into the details of that. I'll possibly do another episode around grief because it's I know it's not talked about enough. But I just dropped everything. Our family just dropped everything. And I had clients scheduled for that day, and I just said, I can't be there. I will be back in contact. And I just packed up, and my brother lives in Newcastle, which was a 5-hour drive from Canberra, and we just went to be with him and his wife and just held them in our arms and felt so incredibly helpless. And oh gosh, I don't even know what to say. I'd had this all rehearsed and I don't know what to say. But we were with them. It was just an unexpected tragedy. And it's, the grief of it is just, my heart just shattered into a million pieces and felt like it was never, ever going to heal again. And the sadness for a young woman entering is it the prime? I don't know if it's the prime, but with so much of her life to live, and the pain that my brother and his wife, I had my own grieving, but I just carried the pain, and that was something that I didn't know what to do with, that my own grief. But how do I felt there was this almost this new feeling that I was experiencing was the physical pain that I felt for him and my sister-in-law, but mainly my brother. I could feel it in my body, and that empath I didn't know what to do with that. So I had a lot of counseling, and I've done a lot of my own work and healing around it. And I'll go into that more in other episodes, but that was something my body did some really weird stuff. Like grief does stuff anyway. And for those of you who know me, know that my mum passed away when I was young. So there's the grief still in my system around her. And that just kind of, that opened up those, wounds as well. And I think there's lifetimes of grief that just got opened up, and this floodgate of, what do I even do with this? And my body, I had diarrhea. Like my body's way of coping was just diarrhea, and it was just the release. And I reckon that lasted for at least 6 months. I lost a lot of weight very quickly, and then that's finding its way back to me. But my body's way of coping, it just couldn't hang on to anything. And it was just this physical, emotional. And if you think back to the overarching experience for last year was about mastering my emotions. It's just like, holy, serious? So there was so much sadness. And John and I were on this trajectory for our dream that we've held in our hearts for so long, and it just felt really irrelevant. And the agent was contacting us saying, we've had a few nibbles on the house. And I'm just going, oh God, just do what you need to do to sell it. Like, in the scheme of things, that is not even on my radar at the moment. So we just let the agent do what he needed to do. And we were just in family support mode, and supporting my brother and his wife and our families through it. And the underlying bit, like, it was really this feeling of, family is the priority, and our dream, it didn't feel okay for us to be excited about our dream. That it did not feel okay. And it's interesting, that feeling I had was the same as the 12-year-old, the 13-year-old, the 15-year-old, the 17-year-old, the 25-year-old version of me, that when my mum died, it felt like it was not okay for me to ever be happy again. And that's when I made that commitment, when I had kids of my own, or just before I think I had the kids of my own, was I'm not going to live in that way, that it's not okay to be happy. And I think that's the first cycle of me learning to fall back in love with life. And I'm in the second cycle of that now, I'm learning to fall back in love with life. That there are days that you'll see me and I feel great and wonderful. And then there are other days that I'm just going, oh my gosh, this is just way too hard. And it's not either or. It's about, it's okay to feel sadness and experience the grief, and also to be excited about this beautiful dream that we've had. And they're not exclusive. It's about, how do I do that together? And it's been hard. It's been really, really, really hard. So our move was just, so anyway, we did end up selling our house in Canberra, and it was 2 months. It took 2 months. So that's, in the scheme of things, not that long. It wasn't two days or 2 weeks that I was hoping for. But we did sell our house so that was March and April. So in May we sold our house, and we then, and before we had sold the house, we started to do a little bit of looking down the coast. I didn't want to get too invested in looking for somewhere before we had sold our home and had the finances to buy somewhere new. So we knew the location that we wanted to go, and I am going to do an episode around this where it's more detail, but we knew the location that we wanted to live in. And it, for those of you who are curious, it was around Maruya in the Binji Congo Marengo area, which is just south of Maruya, and Maruya is on the south coast of New South Wales, and the next regional town is Bateman's Bay. So we moved from a city. Canberra has, I think, 500,000 population, so a relatively, country town size city, if that's a thing. Maruya has 8,000 people, and the little kind of area we live in, it's got a couple of hundred. So we're out on a property. So we sold our house, and we were looking. We were looking around just to see what was on the market. And John said, "Do you want to come and have a look at some property?" And I'm like, I really don't, because I don't want to fall in love with somewhere and get invested in it if we haven't sold our place and then we haven't got the money to buy the thing that I've fallen in love with. And he said, there's one property in the exact location. He said it's for the, really good price. How about we just go and look at it and get a sense of what we're getting for our money down in the area? And he showed me a photo of it. And I'm just like, yeah, all right, because that does not look like anywhere that I would want to live. And we went there and had a look at the property, and I'm just like, oh my God, it was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous. And I'm walking around and I'm going, oh, I can see us living here. It was way too small and it needed renovating, but I'm like, the property, I could see us living here. I can see that when we have grandkids that they can come out to the property. I don't have grandkids. And just an aside, if my kids are listening, can you hurry up and have grandkids? Because I would really love that. But we could see ourselves there, and we were saying all this stuff, and the agent was sort of listening. And it was interesting because when we were selling our house, our agent was giving us insight into, he could kind of sense when somebody's a potential buyer because they're starting to talk about seeing themselves living there. And here we are down at this place that we go to, like, nah, we're not going to. And we're going, oh, actually, we could see ourselves living here. And I just said to John, I can't do this until we sell our property. I said, I'm just a nervous wreck at the moment. I cannot hold that I cannot hold that with me. And so we just kind of went, no, we're not going to look at any more properties until we've sold our house. So anyway, we sold our house, and then we started looking for properties. And when we were in that early stages, we looked at some places and they just were not what we were interested in. And John and I had a criteria about what we wanted, and there was properties there going, we could tell from the location, go, nah. And there was a few going, oh, actually, they're not too bad. They didn't really meet our criteria. And then we'd heard, my daughter lives not far from where we're living now. And I'll talk about it. Just coincidentally, she just happens to be in the same area. And then her neighbour was saying, oh, there's a property coming up on the market. It was on the market before, didn't sell. I think they're going to sell privately. And we're just like, oh, yeah, we're not ready yet. But then once we'd sold, we're just like, oh, okay, maybe we could just reach out and see whether that house is going for private sale. And it just got listed again. There was a bit saying that they were selling it privately. We went and had a look, and John and I, when we drove up to the property, we could just feel it. And we had a walk around the property and we went, this is it. And I think we both cried and just went, this is it. This is it. And it was way more than we were wanting to pay, and we ended up paying way more than we were wanting to pay, but we got a good, reasonable offer. We went, you know what, we could play that game of negotiation and stuff like that, and they were wanting to sell and we were wanting to buy, and it was a really good, energetic match. I mean, I know that it's a financial decision, but for us it was more than a financial decision. It was a lifestyle. It just had a really good energy about it. So we sent them, we thought about it for a week or so, and we got our finances all sorted and stuff like that. And we made an offer, and we were heading to the country to catch up with some friends from school. It was kind of like a bit of a mini school reunion with a group that we catch up with every little while. And we stopped at a coffee shop. I think with the friends, they're a 4 or 5 hour drive from where we were, and we were stopping for coffee. And I just checked my emails before we went through and into an area where there was no reception. And there was an email there, and the owners accepted our offer. And John and I just both in this coffee shop just burst into tears. It was just such a beautiful, amazing moment that this dream that we'd held was actually about to come true. And it was so incredibly emotional. And the friends that we were going to visit, it was tricky because they were going through some really tough stuff in their family, and the potential of losing everything. And I said to John, let's not say anything to them. I just want to be there for them. And let's just not say anything to them that this has happened. And so we drove there, and John and I are just holding hands and squeezing, going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And we got there and we met with our friends, and he said, oh, how are you going? I said, oh, fantastic, we've just bought a house. And so, and he was just, all of our friends were just so incredibly, beautifully supportive, and as we are of them. So we rallied around and celebrated and cried, and a whole lot of stuff there. So so much fucking stuff. So anyway, going back to that ideal scene that I said about the timing, the perfect timing, wouldn't it be nice? So we sold our house in May, and then we bought our house. It was only and our house was due to settle on the 8th of July. And we had made an offer. It had been accepted, and in, I think, early June, and they were wanting a quick settlement. And we went, oh, do you reckon you could settle on the 8th of July? And they went, no, but we can do the 12th. And that was 4 days later. And we, there were so many other bits. I'll share it more in another episode with you. But so we settled on our property in Canberra on the 8th of July. We stayed with a friend of ours for, I think, 2-week period, that just so we could clean our house up, and those days in between Canberra settlement and the new property settlement. And we came here on the 12th of July. John's school holiday started on the 12th of July, and he had 3 months long service leave. I'm just going to cry because it just happened so perfectly. He had 3 months long service leave where we moved into the property, and we just got to be here. I went back to Canberra every couple of weeks and did some corporate work. John came back. We did lots of IKEA runs. We went to Bunnings lots, because in this little country town that we're at now, that doesn't have any of those places. So we went back to Canberra. And then he came back in for the last term of last year to finish off his teaching, and it worked out almost to the day perfect of what we had said. Wouldn't this be great? And the place is just amazing and beautiful, and everything that we could have dreamed of. And I feel like now I'm just starting to go, it's okay to celebrate this dream. I did a lot of healing when I was here, because it's literally a 5-minute drive from the beach. And I would go to the beach every morning, and I would just allow myself to heal the layers of grief. Just walking along the beach at sunrise was the most beautiful healing experience I could ever have asked for. That, am I completely healed? No. Will I be? Not completely, but I'm certainly feeling so much better. And that I feel that it's okay for me to fall back in love with life again. And I feel like I can really start to breathe and enjoy where we are. and allow myself to really love life again. And that's not to say that it's all, happy and roses and unicorns all the time. It's about experiencing the full spectrum of life. And from last year, and I've known this, but really last year re-emphasized that life is precious and for us to live it well. And that's what my kind of mantra is. And I nearly called the podcast Life is Precious, Live It Well. And that's sort of an underlying theme around it. And if I loop back to the beginning of 2024, almost just over 12 months from where I am now, a lot has happened. Like, so much has happened. It was a year of huge, huge transformation. And some of it has been self-initiated, and a lot of it has just been responding to life. And I was saying at some stages, I was really taken off my path this year. It's not being taken off my path at all. That is my path. My path is to experience and to learn how to master my emotions, has been my lesson from this year. And it's about, wow, have I done that big time? I don't know if I've mastered them, but holy hell, I've learned a lot from them, and how to, do you know what? I think I feel good about how I've navigated my emotions. Lots of healing. 2024, there was a lot of healing that's happened, and a lot more to do. And what I have really embracing is that through my healing is really about helping other people to heal. And I've always worked in the space of helping other people to live their best and most beautiful lives. But now the layer of really healing from their wounds. And that's not necessarily from, just about grief, but healing from past wounds is going to be a big part of what I do. And that's through my own healing. And life is still unfolding for me. But it's very much about continuing my own journey, and very much about that spiritual journey, my spiritual evolution, and really helping others around that spiritual journey, and sharing much more about that with other people, sharing much more about my experiences. And when I remember that tarot reading I had last year in Bali, because I had it in my head, I'll be moving to the coast, I'll be, running retreats, I'll be doing holistic coaching, I'll kind of be transitioning from my executive coaching, I'll be running workshops and events. And she had said to me, it will unfold. There are so many options for you, but it will still continue to unfold at the end of 2024. Don't plan anything, allow it to unfold. It's going to be different than what you think. And I had that in the back of my mind. And in all honesty, the last 6 months of living here, it's been healing for me. I haven't made any plans. I've still been working with my corporate clients. And I'm still doing that this year as well. That's still a transition phase. But the work here at the coast is unfolding. But I know, and Talis had said this too, that spirituality will really inform the work that I'm going to be doing. I don't know. Do you know what I knew? Do I know? I don't know exactly. No, I don't know exactly. But my focus for this year is to surrender and flow, which means it's not about controlling. It's not about resisting. It's not about, I'm trusting those inner murmurings that are really, oh my God, so powerful down here. It's like this part of me has just been amplified, this connection that I have with divine guidance. Holy, hooly, hooly. It's on, it's just amazing. So there's going to be more of that. And the podcast is much more about me sharing just different elements of life. And as I said, there are some topics that I kind of know what I'll be talking about, and then others I'm just going to let unfold as well. It's not that I'm going to ramble, although have I rambled? Hopefully I haven't rambled. So some of the stuff coming up for 2025 for me, there is going to be much more of that emphasis on energy. And that's one of the things that Tallis said as well. Oh gosh, I had another reading with her only a couple of weeks ago. So for this year, and she had said that this year is about big transformation. As though bloody 2024 wasn't about transformation, but she said this is about big transformation, and it's integrating my healing that's happened from last year and the changes from last year. It's about integrating those, and it's really about bringing cycles to completion, ready for new beginnings and fresh energy. And 2025 is a 9-year in numerology, which is about the end of cycles. It's about bringing things to completion. And so it's really interesting that that's kind of what's going to happen with me organically anyway. Tallis also said I'm going to be stepping into my fire energy, everybody. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm Aries, which I kind of have fire energy anyway, but fire is all about passion and creation and transformation. And Tallis had said I'm going to be working much more with energy and a focus on healing and doing that inner work, which is kind of what I was doing anyway, but much more of a focus on the healing elements to help people to clear their energy so then they can make the changes that they want in life. So I'm excited about that. And I'm super excited about that. And I've got some really cool programs that kind of are just, they're getting ready to be birthed. They're getting ready to be birthed. And it's about getting to know really who you are at your core and working with your own energy. There's one program, it's still in the gestation stage, but I'm thinking maybe it's probably a March release, I would say, March, April, but it's about working with your energy. Oh my God, so cool. And I'm also studying sound. I've got a sound practitioner program that I'm studying about frequency and vibrations and the power of sound in healing, and transformation as well. So that is really super cool. There was something else I was just going to share there. Oh, and it's about really what the essence of what I'll be doing is that bridge between spirituality, the ancient wisdom, and the modern day application of it, and using and blending it with science, because I'm super intrigued by science as well. So it's about being the bridge between the two. And that just, oh my God, that lights me up so much. That really lights me up. And there's a container that will be coming in the next couple of months that is about exploring your that bridge, the spirituality, and how we integrate it into everyday living. And being a 9-year, there is going to be so much more about that. You'll see a lot of other people doing it as well. That it's about that integration, and that that makes me feel very, very good. So some of the offerings I've had, and if you haven't, I guess I'm nearly ready to wind up. I know this has probably been a little bit longer than I was anticipating, but that's, yeah, I was going to say I'll try and keep them shorter. The episodes, we'll see where they go. But some of the offerings that I've got at the moment, I'm still doing my one-on-one coaching. It's holistic coaching. It's not just the business strategy or life strategy. It's whole of life. And I do some really gorgeous sessions called the Soul Whispers sessions. They're very intuitively guided. So you have a question, an area where you're wanting to tap more into your inner knowing and your inner wisdom. And I help you access that through my spiritual team, my guidance team. That's beautiful and very, very cool. And one of the things that I'm doing, which I have not announced anywhere other than with a few friends, but doing Akashic Records readings. And the Akashic Records are around the book of life. So information about all of us in the world, the planet, our past, our present, and our potential future. So I'm a conduit between the Akashic record keepers, and it's like having a personal conversation with the universe just about you. And I'm doing those sessions, and they're all on the website. You can go to the happiness-hive.com website, and information is there on the website how you can access those. Doing some very cool stuff with human design as well. I think that's a really great tool to use to get to know who you are and who you're designed to be in this lifetime. So very, very, very cool as well. And really, there'll be some stuff around the sound healings later, and the energy healing around that as well. But do you know what? It just feels really good to be back here in this space with you. I sign up to my newsletter, so go to my website. I'll put the link in the show notes as well for you to sign up to the newsletter. But that way you can keep in the know about all the things that I'm offering and as they unfold. And I will probably be offering to my my inner community first, and then going public around those. So if you want to be in that inner community, sign up to my newsletter over at the Happiness Hive website. I would love to see you there. And there's some additional bits that I send out weekly just about living life. So there's some additional stuff. And I'll also put a link to the Happiness Health Check. That there's a little free resource that I've got that you can just do a self-assessment in different areas of life and how fulfilled you feel in those areas. That's a free resource. I'll put the link there for you. So thank you for listening. Thank you. I would love for you to provide any feedback or comments, and let me know if there's any topics that you're interested in me chatting about, because I would love that. I'm here to respond to what you're interested in as well, and sharing from my heart to your heart. So thank you, love you, and let's make life completely fabulous and hang out together. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Happy Go Fabulous. I hope you loved it. If you did, could I ask a big favour? Please subscribe, leave a review, and most importantly, share the love and let your besties know about the podcast. This will help get it into the hearts and ears of all the gorgeous souls who need a little bit of fabulous in their life. If you'd like some more high vibe happiness in your life, come and visit me on my Happiness Hive socials, and make sure you've signed up to my newsletter, your weekly drop of juicy goodness. Pop over to my Happiness Hive website and click on the link Working with Catherine. I'd love to help you make life amazing. Until next time, keep being fabulous.